find your passion, it ignites you as a person. You just feel awesome. Hello, good morning, what is going on? It is probably like 6 a.m. So let's get some coffee and talk about jiu-jitsu, because today's topic is to help you get your jiu-jitsu to work. And we are going to accomplish this by going over two different aspects. One is going to be the mental, and the second is going to be the physical. So I'm going to tell you things that's going to help you not only in your first year doing jiu-jitsu, but throughout your entire journey, because this remains true even when you are a black belt, okay? So I named one of my playlists Survive First Year of Training, because that is literally what you have to do and should be your main focus. If you think that you're gonna go out there on the mat your first month and start slapping on submissions, like that rarely happens. When I first started, I remember I was working on, for 2 months, I was working on a judo hip throw, and I would go in before class and I would drill with my partner, and I would try it rolling. And I remember I tried it during my first competition, and it ended up, I tried it, it did not work. I landed on my butt and I got mounted and choked. Okay, but here's the thing, like, that really wasn't a failure because I attempted to try. I'll tell you another story. I was staying after class one day, and I remember Pockets, that was his nickname, Mark, he was cleaning up the mats, and he was like, Crystal, he's like, do you know how long it took me to figure out? And he was like, good, right? He was a very skilled person. So a very skilled person was telling me, do you know how long it took me to get the hip throw? And he was looking at me like I was crazy, like thinking, like, you think you're gonna get this in 2 months? Like, he's like, it took me like a year or two to get that. So the thing is like, when I first started, it's like, I thought I was gonna get things a lot quicker than actually happens. But in this video, I'm gonna tell you how to get there the most efficient way possible. Okay, we're doing this. We're gonna start with our affirmations. Okay, today my jiu-jitsu will suck slightly less. Repeat after me. Today my jiu-jitsu will suck slightly less. Okay, all right, let's go with purple today, because that's a nice vibrant color. So we have the mental aspect. Most people don't understand the mental aspect of this. Do you know what it feels like to try something 100, 200 times and the result be your face getting smashed in the mat? Like, that is the process for learning a double leg. Like, you will be sprawled on. My face was smushed against the mats countless times trying to get this to work. So here's a boundary, like a roadblock, a mental block that happened to me, and it will probably happen to you too. So there is this thing called confidence, right? And we gain confidence through self-efficacy, which is how to take something and make it become real, how to have an imagination and transmute that into reality, right? How to think of a painting and then draw it, how to think of how to fix your car and then do it, it's like these things, when we actually do them and we have a history record of getting shit done, that is what gives us our confidence, because we say to ourselves, oh my God, like, look at the things that I've done in my past. I can do things in the future. Now, when we talk about the mental aspect of getting our jiu-jitsu, let's say we have a technique that we want to accomplish. And for a beginner, a great technique is escaping side control. So let's say you want to escape from side control. Or let's say the mount, either or. Side control and mount, I mean, they're pretty equally shitty. So if you have never, there is your past record and there is your current mind frame. You are not going to be able to read that. I am sorry. So this is your current and this is your past. Let's say you have never gotten a side control escape before, right? You are going to look at your past record of never having to do that, of never having a successfully completed side control, and you are going to be like, oh my God, I suck. Then you're gonna look at your current mind frame and you're going to try it and it's gonna fail. You're gonna try it, it's gonna fail. You're gonna try it, it's gonna fail. You're literally, this is gonna be you with your attempts during live training to get something to work, and then finally, boom, it works. Okay? So then this is the process. This is the no shit process. For some, it could be more, it could be less, depending on your experience and a whole bunch of other factors, but we'll just use this as an example. So now this goes over here. Now you have a past record of 1, and now you're dealing with this. The next time you're rolling, you're gonna have this mental confidence of like, I've gotten it before, and then you're going to maybe try it, fail. These are all fails, and then it'll work. This is working. Now, there's 2 over here. And see, this is how you slowly build your game, and this is how you slowly build your confidence. Now, I have had moves that have worked for me before, and my mental helps me either get it done or not get it done. But I'll tell you what is a huge and significant factor, and it's how tired I feel and how much carbs I have in my system. I was going up against my coach the other day, and we were doing like a judo type sparring where it's like, okay, one of us gets a takedown, we stand up, get a takedown, stand up. And of course I'm going against my coach. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, not much of my stuff is working. But I remember like I got him against the wall and I was doing some like wall takedowns, and I got one, and then we went up against the wall again, probably like, I don't know, 7 minutes later after I was like tired. And I remember my mind was different. Like when I was fresher, my mind was like, yeah, you got this, like take him down as possible. But as I got more tired, it was almost like my belief in my ability to do it, I could feel it start to decline. So I was like, oh, because I knew from my past experience, in order to get something to work, you have to have blind faith that it's going to work. And the hardest thing to do is to get that first one, to have blind faith that your technique is going to work when you have no past evidence of a technique ever working. Okay? And even when you get to higher belts, you have specific game that you're going to stick to. Not every person is a black belt level in every single technique. This is the definition of some people having certain game. So when you are a black belt, and if you are still actively trying to develop new game, you are still going to have to go through this process. This process never changes. You are never, like, we all go through this process. Every single one of us has felt what it feels like to try and fail and fail. So as a beginner, you're doing it right. You're doing it right if you're trying. And the reason why I labeled that playlist as like survive first year of training, because that's literally what you have to do. Like, I didn't name it like dominate and submit everybody. Like, no, it's literally, girl, it is literally survival. Okay? So this is a mental aspect that, like, the reason why I'm telling you this is that so you'll understand that, like, a lot of people will look at this, right? You may look at this and be like, oh my God, I suck. Like, but you don't, well, I mean, we all suck to a certain extent, but this is the process. This isn't evidence of you sucking. This is evidence of you growing. This is evidence of you trying. This is evidence of you completing the process, okay? So you're doing great, all right? So this is the mental. Let me now show you, oh, there's a bug. Let me now show you the different tools that you can use in order to get there. Like, there are different types of training that you may not be aware of as a white belt, and there's different intensities. So these are roll to the death, hard roll, like a 50% roll. We have flow roll, give and take, right? So this is in order of intensity. So what you can do is you can utilize all of these different types of training into your training dependent upon how sore you are. So you can continuously get in jiu-jitsu movements and learn jiu-jitsu movements. So in the beginning, you have drilling with no resistance, which is your class. This is valuable because this teaches you how the movement itself. And then, like, an example that I like to give is weightlifting. Okay, so have you ever tried to learn how to deadlift before, or see somebody that's attempting to learn how to deadlift? Like, their technique in the deadlift is not going to be, you know, that of an experienced person if it's their first time lifting, and they're not going to be lifting a large amount of weight because they have yet to develop the skill required and the muscles required to adequately lift under that much pressure. So you need to develop your jiu-jitsu muscles of drilling first. So this would be like completing reps with like just the bar, and then slowly adding resistance. So here is like class. Drilling with resistance is very nice because then you get to slow down what would normally happen in a roll, but you also get a more realistic sense of what the move will feel like when somebody's trying to actively fight you without totally burning out your body. Now we have give and take. So I'm with a partner and they let me do a couple, I let them do a couple. It's like it's a form of flow rolling. Now there's give and take with counters. So you know, I complete a flow, like let's say I, you know, let's say I do a single leg dump, I pass the guard, I'm in side control, and I do a head and arm choke. And then from there, the person would then try to work out of the head and arm or do a counter move before I even get there. So that works on your reaction skills. Next we have flow rolling, which is basically a form of very, very light rolling, so you get the movement in there without completely burning yourself out. And then we have varying degrees of rolling intensity. Some gyms tend to be harder rolls than others. The first gym that I came from, like, it was a very hard mat. Like, the rolling there was extremely intense. You know, and everything has its pros and cons. Like, you also need to think about, okay, let me gain skill, but you also want to think about longevity. If the only thing that you're doing is like rolling to the death as a beginner, that can take a toll, especially if you're like the smallest person on the mats. Okay, so those are what I wanted to tell you today, because you are going to keep on doing jiu-jitsu and you're going to get better, okay? Like, let me just tell you this right now. You are doing it. If things aren't working, it's because you're trying, and that's all you can do is your best. And if you keep on doing that every single day, it'll get there. It'll get there. It will happen, all right? I am proof. I am proof that your jiu-jitsu will work. And the first technique I remember that I ever got on the mat was this. I remember I had a collar grip, and when you grip somebody's collar, instead of gripping straight on, curl your wrist so that when they try to pull the gi out that way, the closure is in a different direction, so it actually makes the grip stronger. So I remember gripping like this and turning, and it was a big guy, and he couldn't get, you know, his lapel out of my hand, like, and it was, you know, it was like, oh my god, like something worked. So try that on the mat if you're in a gi, and then I will have another video coming out this week for a move that you can do in no gi that you're gonna be able to get on the mat. It's gonna happen. All right, so I love you so much, and until next time.